Hey everybody, and welcome back to Mainstream Monday here on Horror Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody. I'm here with,
John Ward.
and we're going to be talking about the 2022 film, I believe that it was film Living with Chucky, which I called it Life of Chucky by accident when I sent you the thing, and I hope I did not say that to the girl. I sent a message.
Well, I think
Uh,
I kept calling it Life of Chucky. You corrected me, so maybe you got it from me.
yeah.
Because I kept saying, I guess life and living, they're the same thing. So,
I was saying to the woman who made this movie, I sent a message. I accidentally said "Life with Chucky" too. So, yeah.
oh, oops.
But then I noticed something online. There is a thing that says my life with Chucky," and it was her talking. So maybe I don't know. There's things with it. But anyway, if the director of that, who is the daughter of Tony Gardner, one sees this or whatever, just know I'm sorry. Did not mean to do that. Her name's
Oopsie.
Kira, yeah, Kira Gardner.
Was it
So
on? Yeah, Kira. Yeah, Kyra.
yeah, kind of like Kira Sedgwick, which is like the girl who's married to Kevin Bacon. You don't really hear that name that much. You don't hear Kira. So very cool.
She was just in something, but I don't know what it is.
All right,
Part of
well,
a larger cast.
now John says he's got stuff to show us, so whip it out.
Well, excuse me while I whip this out. So I watched this on this. I bought it when it originally came out. Living with Chucky. This is the collector's edition Blu-ray,
Nice.
and this is okay, but I like this better.
Yeah, that's the typical like poster.
Yeah, and this has candid conversations, favorite death scenes, strange families, and director's commentary on it. So, and it's 101 minutes. Um, and it's not rated. We can get into this, but I think the movie is too long.
Yeah, it was like 100. It was an hour and 43 minutes, or an hour and 41 minutes, or something like that. It was
Well, and but I say that, and then I'm glad that it wasn't cut down.
hmm,
Um, because it's like that 100 minutes or 101 minutes, and it kind of at 80 minutes stops being about the movies. And because they're done, they've talked about all of them up to Colt. They bring up the TV show, and then because they were filming it at the time, and then it goes into talking to the cast and the crew, and we see the fandom, and we see all this type of stuff. And I kind of paused it or just looked at the time, and I'm like, okay, 80 minutes, maybe do 10 minutes of talking to the cast and crew and looking at the fans and stuff like that because it's to just 100 minutes on almost everything I think is too long,
uh-huh.
especially when it comes to these type of things. And so I'm thinking for this 90 minutes would have been good, but then when I'm done watching it, I this more or less could be the definitive documentary on the Chucky movies, not the TV show, but just the movies. And so I'm glad it's there if this is the only documentary that gets
There is
made.
another one. I think it was like, um, I looked it up. So I looked up Chucky documentary, right? And the one that pops up is 4 hours and 55 minutes long.
Well,
So it's called Doc of Chuck. It's a comprehensive documentary that explores the
talk of
Child's Play
Chuck.
franchise, spawning 7 films. And we're not doing that, by the way. We're not. We're done. One documentary is enough. I do not want to review another one, especially not one that's 4 hours long. But I guess it just came out last year, 2024, and
Yeah, October 17th. It's on Shudder.
yeah, it's on Shutter. It looks like, and that has a lot more. Well, not really. like it's got a lot less. At least the cast that's up here is a lot less than. I don't know. I That's weird considering how many. Maybe some people just didn't put their names on IMDb yet. But it says the ultimate account. So there's two documentaries now. So, Living with Chucky is the one that we know of or whatever. But this one just came out on it's on Shutter.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see if this is maybe available to purchase because I will definitely buy it. So, but okay, so let's say this is the quintessential personal Chucky.
It's a very personal film.
Yeah. So in those regards, I'm glad that it's 100 minutes.
Mm.
But I've now watched this three times, and every time I watch it, I say it's too long.
And I
But
watched it
when
on
I'm
Tubi, so and that made it longer.
oh, because
So
yeah, the commercials and
yeah,
stuff. So, but it's I mean, I think it's a good documentary
yeah.
overall.
I mean, I liked it.
I mean, I liked how they kind of went from film to film with first putting in the VHS tapes and then they put in the DVDs. I like that going in between. I like the Chucky being made kind of in between each thing. I thought was pretty cool. Um, and I liked that she was at least able to, the director was at least able to get people that it sounds like she knows.
Right.
Definitely like Don Mancini or her dad, Tony Gardner, or Brad Dourif and Fiona Dourif. I am disappointed that they didn't use, and maybe this doc of Chuck does um, use maybe more archival interviews
Okay.
because there's
Well,
really no, except for Don Mancini, there's really no interviews with any of the directors, even if it's old.
I didn't have Tom Holland, which was weird because isn't Tom Holland still alive, right? Like,
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to look at who's not in this. I would assume that um, she reached out to these people and said, "Hey, I'm making this documentary. Would you like to do it?" Because Kara, right? Am I saying her name right? Kara?
Kira.
Kira. My memory is awful. Kira. I mean, it seems like she would kind of know some of these people, from a long time ago, but she seems to hit the main people
Hmm.
that, the main director now, the main producer, the effects artists, the actors that, especially the ones that deal with the TV show.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, it's very personal. It seems like people she grew up with because of her father and stuff, and so she kind of just like Fiona grew up with her father being uh Brett Dwarf, she was I think she was on set when she was 6 or something,
Right.
and stuff like that. So that's a pretty big deal, pretty big, pretty cool thing. I mean, I like that, I like that she was able that they both were able, like everybody in the movie was able to go out there and that did this documentary and share their experiences from the first one to the I I just also wish there was more because like Christine Elise shows up, but did she show up when they were talking about Charles Play 2 or something else? I felt like she showed up later and talked. And it would have been
Well,
cool if they gave more about the movies themselves too, but maybe that wasn't the point, you know?
I think now we're hitting on something that maybe both of us are just realizing that this now that this doc of Chucky is out because they have like the Friday the 13th one,
Mm-hmm.
which is like 4 hours long. They have the Friday the 13th one that's like 4 hours long.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street one too, right? That was like pretty long, I think too.
Yeah, they have these. Which ones did I say? Friday the
You
13th.
said you said that twice.
Oh, fuck my memory. So yeah, there's Friday the 13th, there's Freddy, and those are like 4 hours long each. There's a shorter one of Friday, but maybe with this doc of Chucky, that's what they get into if it's 4 hours.
I
That
guess
so
they
then they'll get
probably
more. because there was see now I'm thinking that yeah, this is really just a kind of a personal passion project.
Right, she's still
And
going to like conventions and festivals and stuff promoting this, you know. This is a personal indie documentary, which is pretty cool.
yeah, because they don't really get into a lot of the movies. Like, how did they come up with the ideas for Chucky coming back in every movie?
I mean, it's more like uh because it is called Living with Chucky. So my idea is that maybe the whole idea was that she wanted to talk more about the Chucky doll. Like I learned a lot more about Chucky that I did not know. I was not aware. The coolest thing is I was not aware. I don't think we discussed this on the first Child's Play, but you that David Kirshner actually came up with the name of Chucky, I think, or something, because he took all three different, bad guys that were big deals back then.
Yeah,
Charles Manson. Um, uh,
Gacy.
no, it wasn't Gacy. It
No,
was
so Charles Manson would be
that'd be
Chucky.
Chucky. And then Lee Harvey Oswald would be Lee, and James Earl Ray would be Ray. So it's Charles Lee
Yeah,
Ray, and they did that, and I actually wrote that down because I knew I'd forget. Like
probably should have done the same.
yeah, and so I wrote that down. I was like, "Oh my God, that's pretty cool." And to me, like learning little things like that through it. Also the fact that originally it was called Bloody Buddy or something, Blood Buddy.
Well, the script was
Batteries not
blood.
included,
Well, battery's not included, but then
and
it
then they
was
they
like
changed it.
I know that it's blood buddy, but I thought there was something else in between blood something.
No, it's just Blood Buddy.
I don't know. I think that there was another name.
I think
It
it's
was
called
similar to Blood Buddy.
just called Blood Buddy. But anyway, point is that they made, he made he had another title, and then I don't know who came up with Child's Play, and that would have been interesting to know. It's like who said, "Oh, this should be." It's probably a marketing thing, like they tested different names out, and Child's Play, you know, worked or whatever. Because it's funny because they could have just called this Chucky, you know, right? Because that's later what it became anyway, like Bride of Chucky and
But
you
Chucky
know,
wasn't a thing.
Child's Play that's not a
That's
thing.
why it's child's play because I mean you wouldn't call Friday the 13th Jason
That's true.
before
It-
Jason was a thing.
and then it became Jason Lives and
Yeah,
Jason
after they realized with part 3, which they barely touch
Nightmare on
on
Elm
in
Street.
this.
Originally Nightmare on Elm Street became Freddy's Dead, because they
Well,
knew
that was a
Freddy.
copyright issue.
Yeah, but I think so was Friday the 13th and changing it to Jason because they
Well, yeah, because both of those went to New Line and they could not use Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the
well,
13th.
no, but New Line always had Nightmare on Elm Street. New Line always had that.
Oh no, no, yeah, yeah, it was just Friday the
Yeah,
13th
just
that they
Friday the
could
13th.
use. So then I
Yeah.
guess if they're going to change Friday, change Nightmare too.
Yeah, I think that was the thing is they were like Freddy, they're already calling Freddy's dead and then he died and then Jason died right after and went to hell. So, so that they can have Freddy versus Jason later, in life and whatever. And I still like to see Chucky fight someone, like, I don't know. Was it so was it it wasn't Columbia. What was it?
He could only really fight Leprechaun. I mean, if you want the same size.
Mm, who else? There's got to be another small person. There really isn't, is there? Oh,
No, I think
Annabelle. He
yeah, but
fights,
that's just a doll.
but that's
It
what
just
is
sits there.
Chucky? He's just a doll.
But he moves.
But so
Annabelle
does
doesn't.
Annabelle. Yes, he does. She
She
does.
just
She
sits
just
there and just pops up in different places. She
yeah.
doesn't
That's
really.
what I'm saying. But sometimes I think you
Nah.
see the
You want
shadow
somebody who
of
can
her.
hold a knife or an axe or something and fight with each other. And Annabelle just kind of sits there and then she's in a chair, and then they look again, and then she's gone. It's
I mean,
scary.
she's got to kill people somehow. She's like, I
We
don't.
never see her get up and walk around, so it's
They talked about talking Tina in this thing, which was pretty cool, a couple
yeah.
times actually. So that was a Twilight Zone episode, and I watched that years ago for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool! Like this is one of the first times a doll has been used as a bad, as a villain character." And then, what is it? After that, they talked about
Well, they mentioned
magic.
magic,
He
yeah,
mentioned
with
magic, which is
Anthony
weird
Hopkins.
because they said like he had never done it in a. I guess he was talking about like in a talking like doll thing, right? Like I don't know if
Yeah,
if the magic character ever talked. I don't remember. But
in his head it does.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, because there's also the Stephen King episode of X-Files, and
Mm.
everybody was excited to watch that, and it ended up just being Talking Tina. That's all it was. So everybody was so disappointed that he just, oh, good, he wrote a Killer Doll episode. Yay.
Yeah, I mean mm, he's never done killer dolls other than he's never done has it
No, but
other than that.
if you've got this whole world of X-Files, why just do a Killer Doll? Do something Stephen King. That's not a Stephen King thing. So,
Yeah.
to me, it's like, oh, I could write this in 2 hours, and and he popped it out. So it's, I mean, no, so far nobody out there is Chucky. I mean, Dolly Dearest, maybe.
I
I
mean,
don't think
nobody's
so.
that, and if they are like Chucky, they're just a ripoff of Chucky. Just like Child's Play remake, it's just a ripoff of Chucky. Like, and literally, if they didn't call it
Oh,
Child's Play,
do I have a lot to say about that one?
yeah, that's gonna be next week. So, next time. So,
Rolling up your sleeves for it, huh?
no, it's just hot in here, and I'm wearing my thing, and I'm just not really. I don't want to take off my hoodie. So,
Take it off, baby. Take it
yeah,
off.
that's okay. I'm happy with it.
Give the audience something to talk about.
No, they don't want to talk about that.
Oh,
They want
wow.
to talk about
Okay.
this. They want to talk about Chucky and how they're talking
Chucky,
about.
take your shirt off, Chucky.
They were talking about. Ew, he's a little boy, like in
He's like a 50-year-old guy
in a
in
in
a
a in a in a little boy doll. I don't know.
maybe he has Benjamin Button disease.
He's They were talking about redheads too, and how sort of redheads were sort of viewed as like bad. I like that, like how in fairy tales redheads were, but I was like thinking about that. Is that necessarily true? Because like, you look at some of the redheads in um history of like Little Red Riding Hood, wasn't she had red hair or something? I don't know. That's why I always imagined she was a Red Riding Hood, right? You know.
Well, I've always heard, yeah, redheads are, a lot of people look at them as being evil.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
people don't like redheads or whatever. Paul loves redheads, and that kind of checks out. You know, that's makes sense. I like redheads. I think some, mm, and you know what? If they're crazy, even better. You know, for me personally, I like
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
Jackie always jokes on me because I always I go for crazy girls because my life's already boring enough. I need to, excite things up, you know. Um but to go back to Chucky, um and stay on target. Um
Stay on target.
I did, I mean, I really enjoyed this documentary. I enjoyed learning the things about it. I don't even wish it was shorter. I mean, I had a fun time with it. I think it was sort of the perfect length for this kind of documentary, you know. Um, I I I wish they didn't have Abigail Breslin and stuff like that in it. Kind of to me, that girl and another one of the girls were like nothing to do with Chucky.
Well,
And
they're just fans, you know.
but they're
They're
like celebrity fans, and I don't like
yeah.
that. Like I would rather hear somebody who had nothing to do with anything.
But I don't
Uh,
want to just hear from Joe Bob. I mean,
I
who's Joe
would,
Bob? No.
especially
That's
with
why they
Joe
show
Bob
that whole,
Briggs.
well, that's why they show the whole thing with, all the fans near the end. I don't mind
Sure.
her being in it because it's an appreciation. I mean, it'd be like having a pop singer or something, Danzig on
But
who he's not pop, but it's just like a rock singer or something, Danzig talking about Chucky or Rob Zombie talking about Chucky.
I know, but like honestly, in my opinion, this might be wrong, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I don't think they added anything to it with knowledge about the series, or
Well, what about
about
Lin Shaye?
Lynn Shay. Yeah, see, even had Lynn Shay. Um,
And we like Lin Shaye,
I
so
do like
did you,
Lynn Shay, but she brought like the old school, like she talked about Nightmare on Elm Street and how like and she was one of the people talking about how back in the 80s that was a big thing, like having a horror character who had like little one-liners and things like that. And that so Freddy, she was part of Freddy. She was in the first Nightmare on Elm Street because, she's a fantastic actress. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But she was wonderful in that. And then she was talking about how, like the 80s they introduced, what is it, Freddy, and then 88 when they made this, Freddy was already big talking, like I'm gonna, knife you later, like doing these like stupid one-liners. And so that kind of gave uh Chucky the chance to have like that kind of personality, which was a big thing, like you sort of root for Chucky at times, you know, and I feel like not everybody can do that, you know. We've seen movies where the characters just aren't that likable, and even the villains aren't likable, and you're just like after a while you're like I don't care about this. But Chucky, at least you care about, a little bit.
well, I think a lot of that has to do with, and I've brought this up before, with trying not to make a horror icon. So back then, they had no idea what Chucky was going to be. Nobody knew what Freddy Krueger was going to be or Jason. You just made movies, and they just happen to turn into horror icons.
Well, it's kind of like, well,
Pinhead. You
y-
know, but hold on for it. But you look at something like Hatchet, where they went way out of their way to make this guy a horror icon, and it just doesn't happen because they tried to do it. It wasn't through fans embracing it. It was we're going to force this on you. And I do like the Hatchet movies, but when you try to force something on somebody, it doesn't work.
I
But
don't know.
if
I
you do it with just, oh yeah, it's just gonna be one movie, then I think it works better.
Yeah, because Don Mancini even said he wasn't planning sequels. He was just writing the movie for, like what he wanted to write, which was he wanted to talk about the consumerism of, that time period of like buying these children's toys and stuff that and what if one of them came alive, and that's I mean it's a great idea, right? And we've seen a lot of that since then, like Megan, is a toy that came alive, and all of a sudden, you don't want that toy to be alive because you don't, once you give them that thing they can do whatever they want, you don't have control over that toy, and stuff. um but as far as icons go, like Art the Clown was not planned to be an icon. The first Terrifier was just a one-off movie that, Damien Leone did. And I don't even think Art the Clown was even like a name at that time until he did part two, you know? And then once that became a thing, then he became more of an iconic killer,
Well, yeah, it
right?
was more grassroots, and
Yeah.
that's the thing is that Art the Clown was already in two short films, They're on that, All Hallows Eve, and played by a different actor. And then you have Terrifier, which was shown in, it traveled around having different, screenings. And then through that, I think, yeah, he was able to make part two, and part two kind of blew up.
Blew up,
Everybody
yeah.
went to that. And then part three, like mega blew up. So now, yeah, now he is an icon, but I don't think it. I don't know. I mean, I don't. If you're standing on set going, dude, you're going to be an icon. Oh, you're going to be an icon. No, it's not going to happen. If that's like every rock band out there that goes, we're going to be the next Beatles. No, you're not. No, you're
You're
not.
definitely not if you're,
No.
yeah.
So
That's true.
it's my buddy. That's what Chucky was taken from. My buddy.
It was
That
my
doll.
buddy, and I believe, I mean, maybe Teddy. When was Teddy Ruxpin? Because
I think all of those things that talked.
yeah,
Cabbage Patch dolls, they mentioned that in this. So I think anything that a kid could get that was like a doll or something bigger that they could talk to and, communicate with. That's the impression that I'm getting that he kind of based it off of was, what if one of these things, like you said, came to life and went around killing people. So that's why now I'm really interested in seeing this doc of Chucky. I really want to see it because I want to see how detailed they get. Because
well,
that kind
for
of
4 hours, it's got to be fucking detailed.
well, if they're talking about how many films did you say? Eight?
Seven films, eight, including the remake, the reboot, which I don't think they'll talk about in that documentary, unless they, I don't know.
I mean, I guess
Um,
it depends on how long ago this was made, but I wonder if they bring up the TV shows. But it's that's something I'd be curious about because I want in depth. I really want to. And now looking at Living with Chucky as more of a personal adventure, for this director that, it means something different than somebody who's just going to go out and make like a 4 hour
well, it's all about Chucky.
Chucky
Like, this is
documentary.
more about Chucky himself than it's about necessarily the movies. The movies are part of it, but this is more about the cultural, significance of Chucky, how important he was to a lot of people's lives and stuff. And my as I've talked about this before on the things, my nephew loves Chucky. Doesn't know anything. He doesn't know he's a killer or anything. We're not going to show him Chucky movies or anything anytime soon. But he loves Chucky. He thinks Chucky is cute, and huggable and stuff like that. And
Well, so maybe you should get him this then.
yeah, you probably love that.
This is it's a Funko Pop. It's a Popsies. And it says, and it's got a few of the Chucky movies listed up here, but it's push button for pop-up message.
I think
So I
I've
guess
got that or something.
so
I've
it's
got. Do I have that? I thought I had that somewhere.
does he t
Does he say like wanna
Oh,
play?
want to play. That's up
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh
that's
yeah.
how it works. So you push
Yeah.
it.
I have that somewhere. I think I brought that to the studio. Sorry.
Yeah,
But I
try
have one of
me.
those too. Yeah.
Even gives you instructions on the back on how to
You can get it
operate
at
it.
like I want to say it was at Five Below or something.
This was, yeah, that's where I got it, was Five
Yeah.
Below. I
So
think
I
I
got
have,
I got one of those too. Yeah. I can't. Yeah, because it used, or I lost it or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's very cool. I love those little things. Chucky is just, Chucky is just cute, and everything. And I love that. Like, I love how and important he is to the horror world, And I think that was the one big thing about this documentary is just how important and how, um you know what I mean? Like, he's somebody who is a cultural icon, like everybody
yeah, yeah, how
you go,
important it is to their lives,
yeah, if
yeah.
you went up to somebody on the street and said, "Do you know who Chucky is?" Most likely they know who he is. Most likely, unless they just literally never heard his name because their parents are very Christian and they don't, whatever, right? Like, but generally speaking, everybody knows who Chucky is. Or you show a picture of him, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that," because he is he's sort of the icon, and it's so funny how like down to earth like Brad Dorff is, considering he's made something so that I don't think he even maybe he does, maybe he realizes how important and how big it is, but he doesn't seem like the type that like boasts about that. He's just happy that he is able to be a part of something so big. That's
Yeah, well, and they had to get somebody big to do the voice for the remake. I mean, you get Mark Hamill, who's one of the biggest, voice actors out there, because they probably couldn't find somebody to match, Brad
yeah. You
Dourif.
got to do
So
something different
you
too.
gotta,
Anyway.
yeah, you gotta get another known name. You gotta get, somebody who if you see him, you gotta get somebody who can kind of rival the voice.
Hmm.
I would also say this is one of the times that I have no problem with nepotism. So they say in the documentary that Fiona had to audition 3 times. Okay, okay, I guess I could believe that, but it would seem if it was 3 times and they were just going through the regular casting process and she just happened to be, picked, I think it was a great pick because, she, as you saw at the end of Colt, she is Chucky. So she's her dad. So what a better person to play off of her dad than his daughter?
Hmm.
And that to me works. And it's not that they're in the movie father and daughter. Like let's say you had like Jack Quaid and Dennis Quaid, and all of a sudden they're playing father and son.
What are
Okay,
you like? Was it like father like son like that? That Kurt or was it
oh God,
Kirk
no.
Cameron movie?
God, no. No, no. If anything, go watch vice versa. But well, okay, well, the one way that they did it good, even though I wasn't a fan of the series, was the Godzilla TV show, where they had Kurt Russell as the older Kurt Russell, and then they had Wyatt Russell as the young version of Kurt Russell. That worked. So it's so I think that this, in some cases, a Nepo baby works. And in this case, it worked really well with her. And I might have said it, as I'm sure other people said it when Curse came out, was like, oh gee, that's convenient that his daughter got a job.
Right.
But if they're saying, oh well no, she had to try out and all
I
that
think I
type of
read
stuff.
that somewhere
So
anyway. Like I think, she didn't just get the part, but even if she had, like I don't care about the nepotism shit. Like everybody goes crazy about James Gunn hiring his brother. Honestly, if I were in
and his
Hollywood,
wife.
I would put my family and my friends in it if I wanted to. No, I mean, I remember in the beginning what is it of like hearing from I think it was either Mallrats or so Kevin Smith wanted to put like his actors, his normal actors, and they said no, you got to audition people. And he said why? He was like he's like because it's not making movies with your friends, right? And he goes that's what I did. That's the movie that you liked and you wanted. Right. I actually technically auditioned people even in that, even in that one. But
But
like
that's how you know that they can act, though, is because he did audition them for Clerks, which means that they should be able to pop up at least somewhere in Mallrats.
right, and they did. At least
So
Brian
yeah,
O'Halloran did, and Jason Mewes had to audition to play Jason Mewes. you know.
I would say that that's correct, since at that point he was still doing drugs, I believe. So yeah, you probably want to make sure that he's okay. And it's
Yeah.
the one that OGP and I are going through all the Halloween movies, and this coming Monday is going to be the trilogy because then Halloween's just right down the road, so we're going to be done with it. But we watched Rob Zombie's 2 films,
Hmm.
and even though I don't mind it as much, OGP really hated that Shuri Moon Zombie was there, and that that her acting was really bad, and I mean
I
it's
don't mind her. Like a lot of people hate her acting and everything. I don't mind her. I
it
don't think
depends,
she's.
but
I
you
don't think
know
she's great, but I don't think she's terrible.
But maybe somebody would have been better who can actually like really act,
Maybe, but
you know.
honestly, I'm happy he's putting, his family in there. But see, here you're talking to the guy who loves Adam Sandler movies, and that's all he does is put
It's
all
put his friends in there.
his
Yes,
friends in
it's
his
pure
movies.
nepotism. He should just
Yeah,
make a movie called Nepotism.
I know. Like
The
he puts
movie.
his daughters in his movies, and they're actually pretty damn good. And so, like, to me, it doesn't matter. Like, if you want to, Kevin Smith put his wife in his movies. I don't give a crap. You want to go and put, people in your movie, put them in your movie. If they're good or bad, that's up to you. That becomes your movie at that particular time. When you're directing, you're writing, you're producing, that's your movie. If you want to go and put whoever you want in your movie, to go back to Fiona Dorff, if even if they didn't want to do that, if they said, you know what, Fiona is perfect for this. Let's put her in this movie because, how great would it be to have father and daughter, fighting each other, in doll form or, or whatever for Chucky. That's cool to me, and everything. And Jennifer Tilly liked it because she loved getting that little kiss, the little smooch from her at that time.
Yeah, yeah, she really talks about that. So,
Yeah.
you
I
know, so
mean,
that's
I
yeah,
think
that's
she did
very
a great
nice.
job. I think Fiona was
No,
wonderful.
it worked out fine because she needs to hold curse. Like if she's a bad actress or we don't believe that she's in a wheelchair or whatever it is, the movie is ruined.
Right.
If she even with Colt, because she does play the couple different characters, if her you know being Chucky inside, if she can't play that off, if we can't believe that Chucky is actually controlling her, it kind of ruins it. So we got and she was able to pull it off. So yeah, there's no problem there. And like I said, I think it's smart casting. Three auditions or not, I think that I mean, you obviously want to know if she can act. I don't know
Hmm.
what she's done before Curse. Um, but maybe she's done other movies, but you want to make sure the person who's in that wheelchair can hold that movie for 90 minutes. And she did.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
yeah, and it's I would just like to have seen in this if that's why I think it's 10 minutes too long, but then it's too short with talking about the movies.
Hmm.
And like you said, I mean, I guess that doc of Chucky will probably get into more detail about it, but uh because there was some weird stuff with like the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street one. Just what the cast was, I guess, to get interviewed, they're like, okay, we want these certain demands, and then they would have to get those demands made, and then they would be interviewed. There was just some very weird.
It
Uh,
sounds
uh,
sketchy.
well, okay, I'll make this fast because it's not Chucky, but in the Nightmare one, if you remember in Freddy's Dead, there's the tough girl who was abused by her dad. And so she's like, you ain't gonna get none, you ain't gonna get none, and all this. And she's like kicking the bag and all that. So she's interviewed, but she had to bring her geisha with her.
Okay.
So they're on the set where she's all dressed up like members of a geisha, and then she's got the girl below her who's like her pet or slave or something, and then she's talking about the movie.
Is that Leslie Deanne?
I don't know what her name is,
It's weird. I don't
but yeah,
know.
she and I just thought, what the fuck is going on here? And then there's just weird like people wearing weird clothes and it's just when I was talking to the director of The Haunted World of Edward D. Wood, he was telling me for Vampira, the only way that she would do the doc is if they built an entire Vampira set. While everybody else is just like interviewed in a chair, she had to have this whole set built, smoke, all that type of stuff. Otherwise, she wouldn't do it. Um, so I'm hoping like that doc of Chucky isn't like that, and I'm glad that this isn't like that. That everybody in this is literally just sitting in a chair. It might even be in their own house, and they seem to be, because they are showing off things. You can see near the end, they're seeing the different Chuckies, and you're seeing these different photos, and you're seeing, the
I
Tiffany's and all that type of stuff.
I think they're called like talking head interviews or something, where it's just
Oh
literally
yeah,
one person and then, or whatnot. You see that a lot on Tubi because it's just easy to shoot. You just, sometimes they just do it through Zoom, have somebody send in their interview or something. But I don't know. I enjoy this documentary as far as like professionalism and it seemed like I said, I think what it was this was more of a personal story about Chucky. Because it's called Living with Chucky. It's more about the doll itself, where it came from, sort of the idea of what happened, um, all of this stuff. And I mean, I would have liked to hear information about like Tom Holland's involvement with the
yeah,
script, how because like for me it was interesting was there was three writers on the movie. Now the original writer was Don Mancini, but like afterwards Tom Holland took a stab at it, no pun intended, and so did John Lafia. So all three of those guys, wrote the script. So I'm wondering what was the original bloody buddy or blood buddy or whatever movie, or what became the movie that it became, like when did that happen, who changed what, and so things like that could be in the other documentary. um I'm not gonna buy Shutter just to fucking watch it, because Shutter keeps going up in price, and they are not worth the price of, like, when they were $5, I was all for it, but now they're like $6 or $7, $8, something like that, something ridiculous now, and I'm just like not worth. I'm not doing that. I'm not spending that money on that. You know.
no, that's understandable. Let me see here. Yeah, it's well, it's funny as we talk about a personal film, and it's you have your standard kind of Chucky, stuff here, but then if you do look at this, it's very pink.
Yeah, but
This
this
is
this background
a
right here is very pink.
yeah, it's very much a girl or woman's background.
And
If
it's
you or I were back here, it wouldn't be pink. So this is a like we said, it seems more like a very personal
Yeah,
journey, and so you would put in colors that would kind of represent the person who's making it. You
exactly.
know, so it's and I just love how Jennifer Tilly is has just keeps making these one after another,
And she was
and
happy. Like, she was happy to be in this documentary and talk about it. I mean, I loved her being in here talking. I loved we got a lot from David Kirshner, and I didn't know how much involvement he had. I never thought about it, how much involvement he had in the
oh, huge. He created the doll and he created Tiffany. So he created both Chucky. That's on the credits for each film. It says like Chucky doll created by or Chucky and Tiffany doll created by.
and
So
yeah,
and
and he
and
had
it's
that
him.
he had that and he's been busy with other stuff, not just Chucky, but like it's fantastic to see. I love that. I love that he's out there. They're making these films and doing this stuff. Producing. I mean this. Bringing Don Mancini's vision to life, as you said, creating the Chucky doll. For and kind of coming up with the idea of it. Of the look of Chucky, and he doesn't look like he kind of looks a little like my buddy. Remember my buddy? My buddy and me.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah. We
was
were just talking
my,
about it. I just looked it up too.
but that was I used to remember that because I kind of wanted a My Buddy, but my parents gave me My Pet Monster instead as a kid.
Well, it fits
And
more of your personality.
it does, but back then it didn't.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't, I liked, I mean, I did like Ghostbusters and I did like horror kind of stuff a little bit, like stories, like, you used to have these books called Scariest Stories Ever Told, or whatever. And I also like the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark or whatever, books that later became a movie. I enjoyed that, but like it was, but I never really watched, Child's Play until I was like in my teens or something, because I was not really I did have an active imagination, and that did not sit well with horror films. Like I thought like horror films were real, or whatever, my brain, So it didn't turn until I was like a teenager till I started watching a lot of these horror films and stuff.
Oh man, I was watching that stuff when I was 10 years old,
A
probably
lot of
younger.
people were, and wonderful if they were. I just that wasn't my
Well, that was my mom's way of getting rid of me. Plop them in front of the TV set. Oh, look, there's a Godzilla marathon on. Here you go, John. And then, or she sees that there's a movie that I'm interested in, playing in the theater, and then it's like, yeah, okay, just go sit through it 5 times,
yeah, just sit
and
there
then
the whole
she'd go
day,
and
so
yeah, it was easy to do that stuff with kids way back then. Just, yeah, John, go. You just
Or
go be by yourself.
I actually lived right next to like right by a movie theater. So on Sunday afternoons or whatever, me and my friends would go through the woods and we would go up to the movie theater, watch like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and those things, and then come back home, you know, after then, right before it got dark, and everything. And I loved it, man. As a kid, man, going to the movies was like one of the best things in the world. I kind of miss that, man. Like, I don't really go with people anymore to the movies. I go by myself, and it just feels like I'm just watching it at home on a bigger screen, you know? Like, it doesn't give me the same, I don't know.
Well, things change, so
Yeah.
it's well, so now that you've seen all the movies, are you glad with the progression and the direction that the films went? Like, are you satisfied from Child's Play up to Colt? You're happy with how it evolved?
Mm, sure. Like I don't know. It is weird to see the so the first three is like this one little thing, and then part was it part four and five are their own thing, and then part what the heck just happened? It's just his lower hand. What does that mean? Uh,
What are you talking about?
it says this on here. What does that mean?
Oh, there's a hand up in your corner. Now it's gone.
Yeah, I just got rid of it. I don't know what that
I
means.
think it's because you keep moving, so the bubbles come up and the hands come up. You could turn that off.
I don't. Yeah, I'll learn how to do that.
It's just
But
in
it,
settings.
yeah. So anyway, what was I saying? So, um, what was I saying? God damn, this stupid lower hand thing like fucked me up. Um, oh yeah.
Well,
So I go to the movies. I don't really go to the theater as much. Like with people, like it's not as. It doesn't feel the same as when I was a kid. You know,
oh, wait, that's
and
what we were talking about before. I was asking you about what do you feel about the progression of Chucky,
oh
the
yeah.
direction that it went. So,
Um,
dude, your memory is as bad as mine,
Yeah, it's getting there, man.
and you're like half
Uh,
my age.
I know. So like, as far as the movies go, I'm like, eh. Like after a while, they kind of see Chucky's still, even though I like the character a lot better, you know, um, than a lot of other characters. Like I like Chucky better than Michael Myers. He has more of a personality, and the story is a little
Oh
bit
God, some of those
better.
movies are just not good.
I know.
After rewatching them for a month, oh my God, some of those movies are not good.
I know. But then there's some like Halloween 3 is still one of my favorites, you know.
Well, because at least it's different. A lot of these ones, which is probably why I like Chucky so much, is that each movie is different. So, and you're kind of plunking Chucky into different situations and stuff. If when you have Michael Myers, it's the same thing in every movie. You know, oh look, he's coming back to Haddonfield to kill a relative. If it's Friday the 13th, it's oh, Jason's walking around the woods again. Okay. You know, if it's Hellraiser, we're gonna have to wait 80 minutes in a 90-minute movie just to get Hellraiser in there. And then it's normally the same thing every single time.
I will tear your soul apart.
Every time. And Chucky seems to be different.
Um,
And
yeah,
so,
I never liked Hellraiser. Hellraiser is like my least favorite. Actually, nope. The other one, God, well, man, my brain is really bad this tonight. Maybe it's because I did two. This is the second podcast of the night, so my brain is just like plopping down. Um, but the other one, not the prophecy. I like the prophecy. What was the
not
what?
Candyman
No, what was the
or
P? I think it started with a P. As well. Phantasm. I forgot into
uh,
the Phantasm movies. Just did
see,
not.
I I enjoyed those because they kind of pick right up one right after another. They get cheaper, but they do still pick up one right after another, basically. So I enjoyed those.
I
A
watched
lot
the
of people,
first one and thought it was trash, in my opinion, and then just after that, I was like, I don't want to watch anymore. You had no interest. Maybe I'll rewatch it someday, you know. But I couldn't, and it's funny because I did meet the tall man, you know, and everything. Um, and it's funny because my friend asked if I'd like a picture with him. Like I could have gotten a free picture with Angus Scrim. I was like, no, thank you.
wow, probably made him feel good.
No, I mean, I don't think he heard. I don't know, but even then, I didn't, I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to take a picture because I didn't, nowadays I kind of regret it because I'm like, he's not alive, he's not around anymore, so kind of, it's kind of a thing where I wish I gotten one. But like I
Ooh,
said before, I was very happy to meet Brad Dorff, and stuff and get a picture with him, because I did like the first Child's Play and that's I mean, I'd seen the first three at that time that I met him. And I like the first one the best, and stuff. Still, I think still to this day, I like the first one the best. Which
I'm not a first one guy.
I'm not usually like Friday the 13th part 8 is my favorite, not part 1, you know.
See, Friday for me would be part two. Nightmare would be part four. So I
Mm,
mean, it's that's one by with Rennie Harlan that's very bright and colorful. And
my Nightmare 3 and 4 are kind of tied because I really like the Dream Warriors, stuff. But I did like those things. So Jason, whatever. Halloween, I think 3, even though it has nothing to. If I had to pick a Michael Myers one, I'd probably do 4. As far as no, actually, never mind. That one I'll go with 1 because the number 1 was the best. Halloween, the first John Carpenter one, and stuff. So that was the best. But yeah, there's not many that I like the first one better, but Child's Play and Halloween are. But I think that's because of the directors. Tom Holland who did Fright Night, did Chucky, or Child's Play, and John Carpenter to Halloween. I should like Nightmare on Elm Street first one, but um I think it's too low budget that it kind of ruins it a little bit for me. I don't know. I think I liked part 3 and 4 because they got to go a little wilder and a little more fun, and stuff. And
I don't think I could pick a Chucky. I don't, because I think that they're in groups. Like you said, it's one through three, and
then
then
4 and 5,
4 and 5, and
and
then
then
six
six
and
and
seven,
seven,
and then you have the show.
and then
So
you
I don't,
have the remake.
yeah, yeah. I'm glad that they
I
never
know that
made
would be last for
that.
you, period. Yeah, but
It would, even though it does have like three things I like in it. I just, and we'll get more into that on the next
next week,
one.
yeah.
But it's just it's I just found it to be insulting. Even just from like a screenwriting point of view, it's just insulting.
Hmm.
Because even with all the Chucky stuff and David Kirshner brings this up about how you could just throw a doll
You're right.
and just throw it. And is that they do realize that it takes a few films, but they do realize that. So then Chucky then has to be the cause of a death. He doesn't, unless somebody's sleeping or something, then it's different or lying down. But he electrocutes somebody or somebody falls out of a window or whatever it is. He then becomes it's like a domino effect that he pushes or does something and then that person dies. I think that they realized early on that you could just throw him off. I know that he's
Well,
supposed to be heavy because he's supposed to be more human, I guess, inside. So he does, because in the first Child's Play, the mom, can't even get him out of the door. Like when they're fighting at the end, and she's trying to get him out of the bathroom door. They show a scene from it in the documentary she's having a hard time pushing him out when you really should just be able to just push him out the door and close it. So he has weight, but it's not, you still should be able to just, pumpkins and watermelons have weight, but I could still just throw them.
so who would you have wanted from the first movie? Who would you have wanted to be interviewed?
Well, Tom Holland, of course.
Tom Holland,
Um, it would have been nice to have Kevin Yeager.
Kevin Yeager,
It would have been nice to have what's her face, the mom.
Catherine Hicks, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have her. Um,
Would have been nice to have Chris Sarandon.
Chris Sarandon. Yeah, so I would say Kevin Yeager and Chris Sarandon and Tom Holland. Those three I wish were, you know, um,
Interviewed.
interviewed because it would like is Kevin Yeager, I don't know if he's married to Catherine Hicks anymore. I have no idea. But did she not do it because he didn't want to do it? Like he's like, oh, well, they replaced me because they wouldn't pay me what I wanted, so I'm not going to do the documentary. Maybe he's in Doc of Chucky, but
Hmm.
but
I mean,
it's I kind of like hearing you know, the
they're
infighting of these
still
types of
together, but
things.
I want to look that up because I'm interested. I'm nosy. Yep, they're still presently married and they have a kid together. So,
Yeah, so maybe they and that kind of would have been interesting to talk about how they met on set,
yeah. But
and
like
got
once again, it's
married
not
and
about them, and and that's not a bad
yeah,
thing. That's not
I
a
gotta
bad
get out
thing.
of that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not about this movie. I think really was all about Chucky. That should have been what it's called, all about Chucky. It's literally that's like living with Chucky seems to be about the doll, about the fact that he's become such a big thing that that wasn't planned, that wasn't what they were thinking. And even with like the first three movies, they didn't expect him to still become this big of a thing. And then the third movie, it could have been cool to have the Justin Whalen. Keep calling him Will Wheaton.
he
Um,
does look like Will Wheaton.
right? I keep calling him that, and then I'm like, wait, that's not right. He's not Will Wheaton. And then it's Justin Whalen, but I think it's the W, the Whalen, Wheaton, Whalen, like thing. So and Justin, uh, and I guess Will doesn't really work. So Justin and Will, I don't know, but it was a thing for me. But yeah, Justin Whalen, who I mean, I once again we talked about this before, but I loved him on, the Superman movie of the Superman that nobody likes anymore. Like Lois and Clark, Superman. He was Justin Whalen
Oh, oh, oh,
was
the New
Jimmy
Adventures.
Olsen.
Okay.
Yeah, he was Jimmy Olsen in that. So, but I adored him on that, and then we watched him in that White Wolves movie, or whatever. So, I mean, that kid's gone on to, well, a kid. He's older than me. That guy's gone on to do some pretty big, amazing things, and pretty happy he was in. He took over. It's just, to me, I still don't like it. I still don't like the age jump. Like they wanted him to be in like or in whatever. Just get away from Andy. If you're not gonna have the original Andy in there, have Chucky say, well, screw Andy. I'm gonna go find some other kid or some other, I'm gonna go to this military school, and have it be about somebody else new.
Well, I mean, the black kid, the little black kid
I know
who
they could
finds
have
him.
done that. Could have just had it be the little black kid. He just comes in there and was like, "Ooh, this kid, would be perfect," and everything. Even though he had that atrocious line of, "Chucky's gonna be a brother now," or whatever. Um,
Chucky's gonna be a bro
and
now.
gonna be a bro. Oh my God,
Well,
that was
I
funny.
still think that it's a huge missed opportunity with the show that they didn't have the guy, Jimmy Olsen, on the show. So we had two
Yeah, just
Andy.
to, even if he's not playing Andy, to play someone else and then say, "You look familiar."
No, I want him to play Andy. That's how weird the show gets, is that they could have two Andys and do it. Or yeah, like you said, I mean, if they didn't want to go that route, yeah, then you just have him play somebody else. But at least he's on the show. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe he
Yeah,
doesn't
like
want to do
Chucky
it.
looks at him and goes, "You look familiar."
Yeah, like they could walk down the street and kind of look at each other, like, "Hey, I think don't I know you from somewhere?" Something like that,
Didn't
or
I kill you? Didn't I try to kill you before? You know.
yeah.
I I don't know.
I
I
mean,
haven't I
they
haven't seen
try
the
to
show
make you
yet, so
think
yeah.
the original Andy was at military school because in one of those in Curse or Colt, he does have up, I think it's like a shirt or something like that that says
I
the
think it's
military
Colt because that
academy.
was, unless it was before he went out to the cabin
No,
or
it
whatever.
would be Colt then. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was out in
He's
the cabin.
walking along. It's whatever one it is. He's walking along and you're seeing some stuff, and then there's that like a shirt or something from the military academy is in a frame.
Nice. Well,
So,
and that those little touches are awesome.
well, and
To it.
another good thing is that they didn't none of these are not canon. They're all canon where you have different franchises where, oh well, that's not canon and this isn't canon, and they stuck with everything. Even if like with Seed that didn't do great, it's still canon.
Yeah, you're not gonna be like, oh well, screw that movie. We'll just make that. That movie didn't exist.
It's
Because
it's in the
they
multiverse.
interviewed Billy Boyd. We forgot to mention that. They
Yeah.
interviewed him, and I thought that was pretty cool, and everything, that he was Glenn and Glenda, and everything, and oh, and I never even realized that the guy that is supposed to be, uh was it selling Chucky off to somebody, like he was a cop or whatever, turned out to be the guy from Cult. So went from
Oh
Curse
yeah,
to
yeah.
Cult,
The
and
cop who stole Chucky from the evidence locker is
is the
the guy who's the
multiple
schizophrenia
Malcolm.
guy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't
Well,
realize that.
they even showed the nurse that's in Colt is also somebody from Curse.
Oh, nice.
So Don Mancini is starting to do this, which then does lead over to the series,
Cool.
because what's his face? Who's the guy from Final Destination? Zawa Wawa.
Devon Sawa. Yeah.
Devin Sawa always plays like two characters in each series. So
I don't know. That's just wacky. I don't. I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about the show, but hey, I'm excited to watch it and check it out. I'm probably gonna start watching it this weekend before I go out to, or whatever, this whole weekend and the week, and keep binging it until whatever, and then hopefully I'll remember when I get back from LA, all that stuff. But
I
I
would say
think,
just watch the first season and then just leave it at that, and then we do the video. Then watch the second season. Then we do the video. Then watch. I don't. I wouldn't throw it all together. I mean, then it is going to confuse you.
I don't know. It might not. I don't know.
I
Maybe.
mean, that's what I'm doing. Once we figure out a date to record it, then I'll start watching because I think it's 8 episodes. And they mention in this, I thought that they were 30 minutes. That's with commercials, so they'd only be like 23. No, Don Mancini said that they were an hour, so they got to be like 43 minutes
Are each episode 43 minutes? Oh boy.
without commercials. Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, because he said they're hour-long episodes. And I'm like, oh, I thought they were only a half an hour.
Are they? I thought they were only a half an hour too.
That's what I thought. Unless, of course, he's talking about it before the show comes out.
Hmm. Let
So
me
that could be uh
see. Episode guide. First, oh, 47 minutes. Yeah. 47 minutes, then 42 minutes, 46 minutes. So all of them are an hour long. Wow. All
yeah,
right.
between 41 to 53 minutes.
That's almost 8 hours, like 6 or 7 hours of content right there, you know. So, I mean,
Yeah, you do whatever you want to do, but that's how I'm doing it. We figure out a date and then I'll just make sure to watch the first season.
yeah, I mean,
So,
you could probably watch the first season like in a day or 2 days or something, like
oh yeah,
whatever.
if you got the time to binge watch it, sure.
Yeah,
But I'd probably watch at least a couple hours, a couple episodes a day until I got through it. But,
there you go. All right. Um, I guess like this is such a weird kind of thing because this is not like the movie, where we can talk about it. Like, I mean, do you want to still score it or anything? It's not.
I mean, sure. I mean, as far as a documentary goes, and me liking Chucky, I give this a like a 3.5, a
I'd say three and
3.5.
a half. I
Yeah.
think that's a good score. Let me. Can you
I
maybe?
would like it longer if they talked more about the movies, but I could wish it was shorter because they get into that last 10 minutes. But then I think you're correct that it's a personal thing, so I don't mind it being 10 minutes longer than what I think it should be.
So it was a. It did cost $50,000 to make this movie.
Yeah, she probably had to fly everywhere.
Yeah, that would be what my guess is. Like, that this was, her just or she had to fly out other people, like, or something, you know what I mean, like maybe things like that, or put the people up or put herself up, whatever, and then probably camera work and other things, editing. I mean, it was a well done documentary, so there was, there's probably makeup and, a crew and
Well, and her dad is an associate producer, so he probably threw some money her way and then probably used his contacts to talk to some people. And the credits is where you really notice these things. If it says camera and there's like 5 different people on it, that's people from all over the place.
yeah.
So, oh, Bob helped me in this state and Joe helped me in that state, that type of thing. So,
Yeah, and then you hear her like talking to the person too. So a lot of times she's there with the person, chatting with them. So that's pretty cool.
except for except for maybe one or two things, I think she's there for everybody.
Yeah, it sounded like it. It sounded like
Yeah.
she was there and
Because
interviewing
they're
everybody.
definitely talking to somebody, and it's got to be her. They're not
Yep.
talking into a camera, you know.
Yep. So it was wonderful. Like I really did have enjoy this. I would buy the Blu-ray by itself at some point, like you have it. Especially like you said, there's director's commentaries. That's
Yeah.
crazy to think. Like it's always kind of makes me laugh when there's commentary on a documentary because I'm like thinking to myself like, so now there's commentary about commentary, in a way, like that would be hilarious if somebody did a commentary track about the commentary track you just heard. So, like that's where things get way too meta, you know,
I think they had that on YouTube with gaming. Like you'd have the person who's playing the game, right? And
right?
then you have the person who's then takes that video and comments on the person on that video.
That's too much. Like my brain hurts just thinking about that. Uh, Uh, it was a really fun documentary. I think everyone should watch it on Tubi if you haven't had the chance to watch it, to check it out. And I am semi interested in checking out the other documentary, but I don't know if I really want to do another video on it because I think one documentary video is enough. We're already doing too many of these things. I just want a break.
I mean, that we could do at the very, 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 very end if we choose to, and we can kind of look into it. If it talks about everything, maybe, but you
Yeah, it might
know,
talk about the Chucky TV show too.
yeah, I think it just matters when they made it. Does it talk about all three or does it just talk about the first season? Who knows? But I
No,
mean, it's
maybe.
something that we can do. I mean, I might break down at some point and maybe do like I don't think I've ever subscribed to Shudder, so maybe I could do like the trial and then watch it. Um, I did check on my legal, not legal website, and it's not on there.
Oh,
So, oh, I know, sad. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to definitely watch it at some point. It's just long.
let's see. Hold on one second. Talk of Chucky. I wonder if it's on. I wonder. Okay, you can. It says with membership, or you could buy or rent it. On you can rent the movie on high definition for $5. You might as well get a Shutter subscription for that though, because if you're gonna rent it, you know, and it's only like $2 more to have Shutter, you know, like might as well do that. Or I was like looking on IMDb. There's just trailers. There's no actual um documentary, but oh well.
Well, trailer might be good to watch to see maybe who they show that they interview. If they interview anybody from the show, then they probably talk about the show.
Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling they do because it was 2024 that it came out, so they probably did the first three seasons, maybe or so. Who knows? Or at least the first two seasons of the Chucky show. We'll see.
Yeah, because documentaries take a while to make. So.
Yeah. So who knows? But
Yeah. But for
anyway,
now, this is good. And yeah, and if if you like Chucky enough, watch it on Tubi. But if you're a fan who collects all the movies and stuff, I would buy the Blu-ray to just put right next to
well,
the
buy the
collection there.
Blu-ray anyway because
Well, and it
get back
supports
to
her.
it supports
Yeah.
her, supports physical media, which we are big fans of.
But you do get money from Tubi. So,
That's true. That you do
yeah.
help out the person. She's getting something, couple cents or whatever it is. You
Yeah.
know, the distributor is giving. But I love that it's out there that people can check it out. And good job, Kara. I
Yeah, yeah.
think
She did a good job.
yeah, I think she did a great job. I'd like to see more documentaries from her. I'd like to see her explore other things, not just this, but like other movies or other things that she's interested in, or whatever, that'd be fun. So if this is what she wants to do for a living, is be because I think she's also a podcaster, if I'm correct. So whatever she wants to do with that, is wonderful. Go out and make your dreams come true, people.
There you go.
And make Chucky come to life. You know, I don't
That's
know if
right.
I don't know if we want that or not, but the real Chucky.
Teamwork makes the dream work, or dream work makes the team work, or team dream makes you
All right.
work.
We get
Or,
it. We get the joke. All right, everybody. Hope you guys
how
enjoyed this.
dare you?
We'll be back with the in a couple weeks, I think. It's gonna be a weird one coming up because we are gonna do all three seasons. Well, no, first will be
The remake.
the remake, and then we do all three seasons, and then I think a recap, which we may include the new documentary a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't fully decided, but I know we're gonna do a recap, and then we're gonna be done with this year. So a lot of that in December is gonna be all together, matched up together. So get ready for that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. But until then, everybody, hope you guys enjoyed this, and let us know what you guys think. Till then, bye, everybody.
Bye.